It's pretty exciting when we get a box in the mail and it's something that we've been waiting for to rip open and show everybody on a channel. Unboxings are a great thing to do. We get all these awesome new toys, we want to show them off, and we get that parcel, we put it down, we grab a skill knife, we rip the parcel open, and it's all very exciting. We get that excitement going in our audience as well, and we open the parcel up, we show everybody what's in it, and we tell them the specs of it and everything like that, and we show off this great new shiny thing we've got. We make a video about it, we answer some questions and all that sort of thing. We make this video, we post it online, it gets great views, and you've got a couple of thousand hits on it straight away because it's your best video ever. And then you notice that you left your address on the screen, on the label of it. And the last thing you want to do is have to take that video down and delete it or republish it because you've got such good hits on it straight away and you're never going to get those back. And remarketing a video like that's never as good as pushing it out the first time. But it's okay because YouTube actually have a tool that's going to help you out with this. Now if you go into the YouTube editor, I've shown you before how you can trim a video down and remove bits out that you don't want to keep, or that might be slowing your video down and causing troubles with retention. There's also a blur tool in there, and you can use that to get rid of these addresses or any other sensitive information you might have on a form. I've done that with a web page as well, where I've left a phone number and things on there, and I've wanted to blur that out. So YouTube's given us this great blurring tool that we can use to mask these features away and get rid of them and hide them in our videos, and I'm going to show you how to use that right now. So here we are on my videos page on my YouTube channel, and I'm just going to open up a couple of videos here in edit mode. And you just click on the editor. This is available for everybody, and when you open the editor up, it shows you your video and the full timeline here. Just so you know, you can zoom into the timeline a bit if you want to see more detail and that kind of thing. It's not going to be a problem at the moment. Now in this video here, it's probably something that most of us have done, as I was saying before, where we've videoed something that we're about to open up, and oh no, here's my shipping address on here, and this is going to be available to all the world. That's not necessarily a great thing to do. So what I want to do here is mask that shipping address out so that it's blurred so no one can read it. Now we've got this blur tool down here, and you can just click on this to blur parts of the video, and there are a couple of options that pop up. I can do a face blur or a custom blur. Right, for this one here, there's no face on there obviously, so I'm going to do a custom blur. Now that gives me a couple of options here, and I can have either a rectangle or an oval, and I can get it to track the object or have the blur in a fixed location. So what I'm going to do, given this shape here, I'm going to choose oval for this, and you can see that it just changes the blur here, and I can put that on there and just expand that area a bit. So that it's blurring out the center of the image there for me. The next thing I'm going to do is have a look at other parts of the video, and you'll find that this here has already auto tracked the whole object. So I can go back to here and just scrub along the video here, and you can see that as I do this, it's auto tracking along the whole object. I'm just going to widen that out right at the beginning here, so make sure it's actually covering over the full edge. There we go, so that the entire way through here, and you can just come along and make small changes in here. It's actually adding in key points behind the scenes so that you can edit the motion while it's scrubbing through, and it will come back and keep those edits in place. And if you just scrub slowly, you can see that it's in fact tracking the area that's got my address on it the whole way through. I haven't done anything to get this auto tracking working. It works entirely by itself. Now another thing you can do is actually just hit the forward and back arrows on your keyboard, and that will go to the next, the previous or next keyframe on here. And if you get to a keyframe where the tool's not quite doing what you want it to, so that one there's sort of coming over that text at the top a little bit there, don't necessarily need to blur that out. There's nothing wrong with that, it's just feels a little bit sloppy. And I just arrow my way through here, and occasionally I'll just put that back into place. I can move that one over just so it covers all of the text down a little bit there, so it's not covering that bit at the top. And you can also scale it, so as I get a little bit further over here, I can scale that down a bit. I don't need it to be so big, and that's all automatically adjusts all the keyframes and everything in the middle as well, so it doesn't go jumping up the side. And there you go, you can just save that and it will add that blur over your video. It says it can take a few hours for it to do it, we're used to that, and it's as simple as that. And I now know that that's going to be blurred out in my video as soon as it's finished processing. Now there's another one you can do. You can click away while that's doing its work. It will just run in the background on YouTube. I've got another video here which I'm going to go to the details page on and click on the editor again, and when this one comes up you'll see that it's all very good. Here's a bit of a video of me doing some stuff and having a chat to my camera, and oh no, there's some idiot has decided he's going to come and photobomb behind me. Largely because I asked him to. So I'm going to want to blur Axel out here. So I'm going to want to blur him out right through the whole video. So what I can do is click on blur parts of your video again, and this time I'm going to choose a face blur. And here it is, it comes up and it shows two faces that it's detected in the video, my one and Axel's. So I'm going to blur Axel's face out, nothing personal mate, and I'll apply that one, and you'll see here straight away it puts an oval blur across Axel's face. Excellent. It's kind of missed his face a little bit in that particular frame there, so I'm going to move that one down, and then what I'll do is I'm just going to come back to the beginning of the video here and have a look at where it's put the blur object. So right back at the beginning of the video, I'll go to the first frame, and this is a good idea to do this, it's pretty quick. I'm just going to drag that and move it over his face. You'll see that it's actually scaled down there as well, and then I'm just going to step it in with the arrow keys, and I can see that that blur is moving a little bit quicker than he is. He's just standing still at the moment, so I'll just move a few keyframes in, and then I just adjust it back. You'll see that when you do adjust it, it sometimes gets your keyframe back in the right place and sometimes it doesn't. So head back and forth, and just for every keyframe you get there, make sure that the blur stays in the right place. Okay, he's moved a little bit, so I'll move it back a little bit so that when he does start coming out, I make sure I've got that keyframe over his head. Tracking in here is not perfect, especially when he's in the distance and is sort of coming in and out behind that wall there. So I'm just going to keep bringing that across, and there when he starts walking forward, as you can see, it's actually tracks him pretty cleverly. I just need to nudge that a little bit sideways there to make sure he's covered, because we don't want any of Axel's face in the video at all. Nothing personal. And he gets up to here and he starts doing silly bugger things. That's okay. Not only does it protect somebody's privacy when you do this kind of thing, if you need to do it for that reason, it also makes it less distracting as well when somebody does do this sort of thing, and saves you from having to delete your video off YouTube, which can be a problem from time to time. So as you can see, he's sort of bouncing around and moving around a fair bit here. I've scaled the oval up a little bit to get more of his face as he gets closer, and I'll just keep nudging it around as he's moving, and just, I mean, the auto tracking works really well. I'm just helping it a bit, not doing a lot more than that. And there he goes, that's the back of his head, so I'm fine from that. So there you go, that's how that works. And once again, you can just save it, and in a few hours you could come back and that tracking is going to be all there. A really easy and really useful tool, all built in as part of the YouTube editor, and it can save your butt in all sorts of different ways. When you've got a great video out there with a simple mistake in the edit, this is going to cover it over for you, quite literally. Whether it be text written on something like a parcel, or a check information, or a credit card, or somebody's face, or just a few words on a sign in the background you really don't want there anymore. This is going to help you get rid of those things without having to throw your video away, and that's awesome. Anyway, if this has been useful to you, please click down here and consider subscribing so you can see more of my videos. And speaking of which, there's this one up here and this one here that you might want to go and watch as well, because that's other really cool, useful information that YouTube picked just for you. And I'll see you in another video.